Speech off. Speech 3 1 stop recording video button. Speech off.
Hey everybody, Earle Harrison from Triumph Technology. I'm going to do a quick overview of the HandyTech portable Braille displays and kind of try to give you that experience that you would have if you were to go to one of the conference, conventions, and trade shows that we so frequently attend, but for whatever reason you folks can't get to, and understanding that you can't exactly touch it through the video, we're going to do the best we can to describe what it is we're looking at for those of you who can't see the video. First of all, Triumph Technology is the master distributor, the master U.S. distributor for HandyTech Braille displays. HandyTech Braille displays all come with a 3-year warranty, and they are manufactured by HandyTech of the Black Forest region in southern Germany. So the 3-year warranty really speaks to the level of confidence that we have in the product and the quality of the product. These things, I got to tell you, hardly ever come back for repairs, and the people who buy them love them. And you'll note that some folks actually have been very surprised recently when they've talked to me to find out that there is a 3-year warranty, because in some cases people may buy a competing product, and if it's only a 1-year warranty or a 2-year warranty, they'll be compelled to purchase the extended warranty to extend that out to either 2 or 3 years. Just understand up front that when you buy a HandyTech Braille display, the standard manufacturer warranty is 3 years, and you don't have to buy anything for that. When you do that with some of our competitors' products, you'll find that the price either comes close to, meets, or even exceeds the price of one of our HandyTech Braille displays. So they're very high quality products. They are not the least expensive products on the market, but again, they're not the cheapest products. The people who purchase them tend to hang on to them, tend to like them a lot. And what I often say to folks who ask me, why would I buy this Braille display for more money than I can get with that one over there? My answer to them, and it really is true, the people who purchase the HandyTech Braille displays don't purchase them for what they cost, they purchase them for what they do. So if there's a feature that the HandyTech product has, and some of them are unique to HandyTech, the people who want them tend to find a way to get them. There are funding resources out there, and if you want to discuss that, you're always welcome to contact us. Our telephone number here is 651-636-5184. You can reach us on the web, through our webpage at www.attriumph.com, and you can also send us email at info@attriumph.com. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already mentioned the 3-year warranty that comes standard with every HandyTech Braille display. But something else that comes standard with every HandyTech Braille display, excuse me, is this little thing that I'm holding up in front of me here. It is called a start stick. And the start stick contains product information, software, manuals, quick reference guides for every HandyTech Braille display that has ever been manufactured. Well, I mean, within reason, within the last, let's say, 10 years or so. So the Braille Star, which is still quite popular in some circles, especially among telephone operators and airline reservationists and some of our government agencies. The Modular Evolution, those are a couple of our desktop Braille displays, as well as the Braille displays that I've got laid out here on the table in front of me. So if you are a tech and you support a lot of HandyTech Braille displays, you can always keep this up to date. It's simply a matter of running the Start Stick software that comes on these. You can update the information for all products, so you can always be ensured that you're running the latest firmware, you've got the latest screen reader driver, that kind of thing, and for multiple Braille displays. By the way, speaking of drivers, HandyTech, and this has forever been the case, as long as I have been a distributor as well, has always had something referred to as a universal driver. That is a one driver fits all HandyTech Braille displays. So one driver for every HandyTech Braille display that has ever been manufactured. You'll notice that the driver comes already with your favorite Windows screen reader. All the HandyTech Braille displays are also supported by Macintosh and Apple iOS screen readers, the voice-over screen reader. So JAWS, Window Eyes, NVDA, Supernova, I said JAWS, I meant voiceover on both the Macintosh and the Apple iOS platform. Okay, isn't amateur video fun? So let's get started with the physical attributes of our Braille display, and we'll actually talk about some of the internal features as well for those Braille displays where that applies. What I'm holding up in front of me here is something called, and upside down to you, now it's upside right, is a HandyTech Basic Braille. I refer to the design of this particular Braille display as genius in simplicity. It is simple, folks, hence the name Basic Braille. This is the Braille display that sits on my desk in front of my laptop computer. When I put it in front of my laptop computer, it sits slightly beneath the front edge of my laptop, making it very easy for me to reach over it. And when I want to simply look at the Braille display and navigate around using the Braille display to review telephone numbers, credit card information, whatever the case may be, I am able to do that quite easily with this Braille display. These are not the signature HandyTech Braille cells, which are curved to contour to your fingertip. These are flat Braille cells. Remember, it's called the Basic Braille. We've got, very simply, a routing button above every Braille cell and navigation keys on either end of the Braille array. For those of you who can't see the Braille display, this is a 64-cell version. It also comes in 20, 32, 40, 48, 64, and 80-cell versions. What's interesting about that is that the larger the Braille display, it seems to be the more competitively priced it becomes. This is a USB. This particular Braille display that I'm holding in my hand has both USB and Bluetooth. Bluetooth is an optional thing. Most people who purchase the 80-cell Braille display really aren't that interested in using it with their iPhone or some other Bluetooth device. There is a USB-only version, or you can get USB and Bluetooth. It's a wonderful display. Just in case you're curious about what it is made out of, this is anodized aluminum and what's referred to as HandyTech Blue with black end caps, I believe. Okay, I'm going to set that Braille display aside. We're going to go to the next one. The next Braille display that I'm holding up here is called the Easy Braille. The Easy Braille does have the curved contour cells. Of course, the cursor keys above every Braille display. This is a 40-cell Braille display. I'm sorry, cursor cells above every cursor cells. I'm sorry. Isn't amateur video wonderful? I said that earlier. Let me step back. We've got the and the thing is that there's no way to edit that stuff, so you guys just have to live with me making those mistakes. We've got cursor routing buttons above every Braille cell. We have a nice input keyboard, Braille input keyboard. They don't feel like little buttons like some of the other Braille displays out there. These are actually have a nice long throw to them, so it feels like an actual keyboard. 2 space bars, and these space bars can either be, depending if you're in a Braille input mode or not, either be used for navigating. So they're optimally positioned, so as you're navigating around, you can just pan using the left and right space bars. What's interesting about this is this particular device runs on 4, I'm trying to open one of the battery compartments, but it runs on 4 of these little guys, standard AAA rechargeable batteries. The battery life is quite nice. It'll certainly get you through an entire day of school or work or whatever you need to do on battery. It will of course work with all the same screen readers as all the HandyTech Braille displays, including your iPhone. So you've got we do have a carry-in case with a shoulder strap, so you can actually use it standing up, and you can actually navigate using the Apple iOS navigation commands and this keyboard. So that's really nice to use with an iPhone, for example, but also great for use with laptop computers or anything else. Again, it's a 40-cell Braille display. It's called the Easy Braille. Now the next Braille display I'm going to show you is actually more of a note-taking configuration. This is this is actually in the carrying case. I showed you the 4 AA battery, or rather the AAA batteries on the Easy Braille, the compartment. Well, there are very similar compartments on the back of the Active Braille that I'm holding in my hand right now. And this is more of a note-taking configuration. Rather, I should say a note-taker configuration. We have a very nice ergonomically arranged input keyboard. We've got the cursor routing cells as usual above every, rather the cursor routing buttons above every Braille cell, and we've got actually other navigation keys on either end of the Braille display. Also, those are called triple action keys. So on either end we've got an up, a down, or a center, and this is used for navigating documents and that type of thing. The thing that's really unique about the Active Braille is it is the first portable Braille display in the world to ever incorporate something called ATC, or Active Tactile Control. And active tactile control, basically what that means is that there are sensors under every Braille cell on the Braille display, so the display actually knows where you're touching. And it doesn't matter if you have multiple fingers on the Braille display or not. It can usually detect the reading finger, because that is usually everybody has a different reading style, but the reading finger is usually the highest area of pressure on the Braille display. Let me just go ahead and turn this on, and I can demonstrate that real quickly. So as soon as I turn on the Braille display, I see HandyTech Active Braille, and I happen to be running version 4.0. The current firmware version as of the making of this video. And if I go into the main menu, I can see that we've got File. This is where our notes that we take will live. We have a calculator, and which the expressions created within the calculator, or the equations, can actually be incorporated into a document directly. We've got a scheduler. We've got a clock, which contains not just the time and date, but also a countdown timer and a stopwatch. We've got Music Braille. That is an interesting thing. You can actually compose a musical melody on the device, and also with the next device I'm going to show you, called the Active Star. Send it over using to your computer using a utility called HTCOM, and have it converted to MIDI XML file, which you can then import into other mainstream products that support the MIDI protocol, the Musical Instrument Digital Interface Protocol. I'll show you a little bit more about that on the Active Star, and I'll tell you why later. We've got a couple games that we can play on the Active Braille and the Active Star. PC mode is what tells us, hey, communicate with our computer. We can flip back and forth between the computer and the internal functions of the note taker. So in case we're typing along in the email and we're reading things on the Braille display and we want to flip over to the internal functions of the Braille display, we just have to do a chord M in Braille on the display. That'll get us to the internal functions. We can look up the information that we would like, and then we can just do a chord P to get back into what's referred to as PC mode. Braille character sets. Of course, these Braille displays are sold in multiple countries, so you've got the ability to switch between different Braille tables and info, where the information about the serial number, information about the product, the firmware version, etc., are located in there, as well as the battery status, that kind of thing. And we've got the options, which affects globally things like our Bluetooth connectivity, the sensitivity of the active tactile control, and that kind of thing. So it's really quite a sophisticated device in and of itself. As a note taker, it has a very quiet keyboard. You heard it, but I'm kind of banging on it. But I'm going to get into a document here, and I don't know if we'll be able to see this on I've got the Active Braille user manual here. I'm going to go ahead and open that. When I press the center of the right triple action key, I see a menu option called Edit. I can view, I can cut, copy, delete this file, I can rename the file, and I can view the file properties. I'm going to go ahead and tell it I don't want to change anything, so I'm going to go ahead and view the file. And right now, I do not have active tactile control turned on, but I can do that with a keystroke. Oh, actually, yes, I do. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and hold this closer to the video camera, and hopefully you can see this. As I'm dragging my finger across the Braille display, I reach the end. In that case, there were only 3 characters on the Braille display. I dragged my finger. There were 3 full cells. I dragged my finger to the end of the 3 full cells, which indicates that it is a blank line, and I am brought to more text on the Braille display. And those of you can see, if I'm holding it right, will be able to see that as I'm reading, the Braille is in fact actually changing on the Braille display. It doesn't matter if the line is 3 characters long or 40 characters long. It is actually just going to sense the location of my finger. That time it didn't change, that time it did. But and this is a fantastic way to read because it has virtually eliminated the need to do this repetitive motion of pressing buttons just to scan to the next line. Well, there are some people who say, well, you know, what's the big deal? I have no problem. I've got keys on the front of my Braille display, and I don't mind, you know, pressing the buttons. Well, that's fine. But I can tell you that I've got people who work in Braille production, who are Braille proofreaders, who have purchased the Active Braille, and in a couple of cases, the use of active tactile control and the elimination of that need to press buttons thousands of times to get from the beginning to the end of a document has, in a couple of cases, virtually eliminated some sort of repetitive stress disorder such as carpal tunnel. I've got one proofreader who says, Earle, you're going to have to pry the thing out of my cold, dead hands to get it away because it is such a dream to use. It really, really enhances the reading experience, and that is the Active Braille. Now, interesting to note also, I mentioned HTCOM earlier. The Active Braille, and of course all the Handytech Braille note takers, will utilize HTCOM. And in this case, with the Active Braille, if you input in contracted Braille, and when you send it over to the computer, when you send the file that you've been taking notes in all day over to the computer, you can actually tell it to untranslate that Braille, so it just shows up as a text file. The reverse is true, of course, if you download an HTML document or if you want to view a Microsoft Word document in contracted Braille. When you send it over to the Braille display via HTCOM, you can actually instruct the software to go ahead and contract, send it over as a contracted Braille file. So that's really a very powerful thing because it gives you the freedom to read it in a contracted format, and then when you're done with it, you can actually send it back to the computer and have it uncontracted. Okay, so now I'm looking for, okay, well this has been here all along, it's my Active Star. So I'm holding up the Active Star right now, and the Active Star is the newest Braille display that incorporates active tactile control. In my estimation, this is far and away the most flexible Braille display on the market. Some of you might remember the Braille Star. It's really based on a Braille Star form factor, except it is lighter in weight by a significant amount. It has a USB keyboard that plugs into the unit and will pass through to a screen reader such as JAWS or VoiceOver on the iPhone. It actually works quite beautifully with the iPhone. But this is an interesting product because it also has active tactile control and a 16-voice polyphonic FM synthesizer chip built into the unit. And on the Active Braille, we heard that there was something called Music Braille. Well, on the Active Star, this Music Braille really comes to life because you're actually able to trigger real musical instrument sounds as you're navigating using the navigating a musical score, for example. Now, you'll notice if I let go of the keyboard, for those of you who can see, I'm just kind of shaking it around and moved a little bit, but I can just turn it upside down, and the keyboard will not fall off. It is magnetic. Under the tray we have some metal pieces.
10 o'clock.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock, she says. I'm actually in the storefront here, so we've got all kinds of talking clocks. There's probably going to be some more that go off here pretty soon. But the Active Star, it is a QWERTY keyboard. This also works wonderfully as a face-to-face communication device for a person who is deaf-blind, because you'll notice that we have the Braille keyboard on the front panel here as well. So imagine the ability to have a sighted hearing person sitting across from a deaf-blind person. The sighted hearing person can see what's coming up on an iPhone or an iPad, whatever the case is, as the deaf-blind person is typing on the Braille keyboard, and then they can in turn respond to have a conversation, literally, by simply typing on the QWERTY keyboard. So that is a hugely powerful thing, and you can actually incorporate two keyboards. I've had scenarios where I've incorporated a Bluetooth keyboard with an Apple iOS device, and iPhones more specifically. And the sighted hearing person is typing on this keyboard, and the deaf-blind person is typing on the Apple keyboard, or however it works out. It's just a very flexible way to use it as a face-to-face communication tool, and of course all the distance communications as well is supported for deaf-blind folks, such as email, Facebook, internet access, that type of thing. So getting back to the Active Star, this does not have a standard AA or AAA batteries. It does have a lithium-ion battery, but it is user replaceable. There's a compartment on the back, and you will get about 40 hours per charge on the Active Star. So let me just go ahead and take away the keyboard. And now we simply have the Braille display here, and I'm going to go ahead and slide the tray away here. And if I had a laptop computer, now I have a stand that will accommodate most laptop computers, certainly ranging between ranging from a 15.6-inch laptop and smaller comfortably. So you can adjust the tray to fit the depth of the Braille display from front to back, and set it down on the table. Put your laptop on there. But some of you might also have noticed, those of you can see the video, we've got a cable sticking out of a compartment in here. And this compartment is intended for either a portable device like an iPhone or an iPad. Maybe you've got an iPhone with only data and no call capability. You can literally put your phone, or as computers are becoming smaller and smaller, imagine the ability to put a Windows 10 computer inside this compartment, plug in the USB micro cable that's included in here, or connect via Bluetooth if you have like an iPhone or something. But certainly you can plug in the USB micro cable if you've got an Android device or a Windows device inside the compartment. Close it up, and I have some Velcro on here that I actually put on because I actually take the tray off completely, and I set my Apple keyboard on top of the device, making it a very sleek note taker. I actually use this as my note taker. with my iPhone. iPhone is usually in my pants pocket or something. I don't need to put it in here because I have a very solid Bluetooth connection that works very well all the time. Okay, so I've just closed up the device. Let me go ahead and just do a real quick demonstration of the music part of this device. I have actually recorded a active star only video that you can also see on this YouTube channel. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and go into Music Braille, and I'm going to pick a song, and I don't want to edit it in this case. I'm going to just kind of view it. It's a musical score that I might be learning for something, and let's say the first thing I want to do is hear it. Okay, chord P actually stops and starts the recording. If I want to hear the different sounds, I can do that. I'll do a chord V. I'm using the front panel of the device. And let's see what else we have here. Oh, let's see. It didn't go into my changing. Oh, it's chord I. I'm sorry. It's chord I, not chord V. Okay. Okay, I see organ. Saxophone. We can actually see a couple of these. Okay, saxophone, xylophone, piano, steel guitar, violin. What is that? Guitar, organ. We're back to organ. So those are our choices today. This list will probably grow. As well the functionality. Let's hear what the saxophone sounds like. Okay. Alright, so that does not sound like a saxophone to me, but it sounds like some sort of, high school band horn, wind instrument. But you'll notice that as I'm dragging my fingers across here, I can actually as I'm dragging my fingers across the musical score, it is actually firing the notes. I can see the values of the notes, whether they're an eighth note, half note, quarter note, whatever the case is. I can also see the octave marks. There's basically just standard Braille music notation. So not only is this a great way to learn a musical piece, but it's also a great way if you are involved in a music theory class, for example, to learn your intervals. And that's the active star. Okay, well that's going to do it here. Again, my name is Earle Harrison. I am the owner and president of Triumph Technology, located in Columbia Heights, Minnesota. Our telephone number is 651-636-5184. Certainly feel free to give us a call, and if you want to talk to me directly, just ask for me. I'm usually here. And you can also reach us online on the web at www.attriumph. That stands for Assistive Technology Triumph, ATTRIUMPH.com. Or, of course, you can send your inquiries to info@attriumph.com. Thanks for joining me. Have a great one.